is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
You all ready for this? Dun, 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 dun.
This is a sham.
No. Y'all, just stop.
Get real.
Sure. Welcome to DBL. It's Tuesday. It is.
Yeah, but with that tone, it makes people feel like Friday's coming. And
Oh, my bad. It's Tuesday. What it is February 22nd. Shut up, everyone. February 22nd, 2022. So 2-2-2-2 on a Tuesday. Okay, which is a lot of twos. And Dr. Coley's here.
You thought that was going to get more.
Yeah.
We left you out there.
I thought I was going to get some like applause, and there was just like crickets.
I like all the twos. Twos is like a good, it makes me feel good. Like I should
so
be
you
happy
like the
today.
feeling. That's
I mean,
good.
it doesn't take much, but you know.
What do you think? Is it a lucky, auspicious number for you, Doc, for you?
Well, I think so. So my birthday's on December 21st, and last year was 12, 21, 21.
Oh, nice.
So it's the same kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Al?
I think they're numbers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Such a jerk. Last time it was 2-2-2-2. Warren G. Harding was president. 18th president of the United States.
That is like, why? Who knows that?
Yeah. Our executive producer told us. Thanks, Chris. Okay. There's a new study out about Americans and their diet. It says a majority, 57% of you, plan to start a diet, quote, tomorrow, but never do. It also says that 76% of folks believe there are an overwhelming variety of diet options out there, which may lead to confusion over what's best. So, Dr. Coley, tell us about what science says about diets. Are there good diets? Are there bad diets? Is diet a made-up word?
So first of all, I hate the word diet.
Right.
Because diet, just the way that it sounds, suggests something temporary. I like eating patterns or eating behaviors because that is sustainable. That is a real change that we're making, not something we're just doing for the time being. But having said that, yes, science has shown that there are some better eating patterns or eating behaviors than others. So notably, the Mediterranean eating behavior, which is, olive oil, avocados, healthy fish, not a lot of saturated fat, doing unsaturated fat. Also the DASH diet, which limits your sodium intake, intermittent fasting, and plant-based. I'm sure Sam would love to hear that. Those are all diets that have been shown to actually reduce risk of heart attack and stroke. And then there's the opposite. There's bad things we do that work very well in the short term. And the one that I'm thinking of that I hate is the keto diet, which is so popular.
Yeah.
Helps you lose the weight, but it's really, really bad for you in the long term.
What is it? What is it for organ reasons?
Yes, so it changes your
Don't be over our
metabolic.
head with that, Tori. Life bad.
Organ bad, life
Organ failure.
bad.
I mean, is that it?
So it helps you lose the weight because it's high protein, high animal products, right? So you fill yourself up real quickly. So essentially what you're doing is cutting down your portion size. So it's very effective for short-term weight loss. But by eating all that fat, you're actually changing the way your body metabolizes the fat. You're depositing fat on your organs. You're changing your sensitivity to insulin. So your sugar levels are going up, and in the long term, it's causing a lot of harm.
Wow.
Wow. Okay, well, let's talk about these eating patterns. How do people get started properly? I think that's the hardest thing is like, okay, I'm going to do it tomorrow, and tomorrow never comes.
Diet starts Monday.
Guys, I have a formula. You ready? You do 2 out of 3 of these things, you are guaranteed to lose weight. Okay, so one of them is what you eat. The second is when you eat. And the third is how much you eat. So you have to restrict 2 out of 3. So if you love to eat chocolate cake, guess what? You can eat chocolate cake. You just have to limit how much chocolate cake you're eating. And then when you eat is that time-restricted eating, that intermittent fasting we talk about. So only eat for 8 hours a day from 10 to 6 or something and take the rest of the 16 hours off so that your body has time to recover. So you do 2 out of 3 of those, which I know is hard. It's hard, but it allows you to make choices and you can change from one to the other. So if 1 week you want to eat chocolate cake, you restrict the other 2. The next week you're like, hey, I'll do time-restricted eating this week, but I'll eat as much as I want to eat.
I mean, see, I think this is the problem. Is like we get the information from a reputable source, maybe the most reputable source, and the people watching, including people on this panel, we go, all right, see you soon. And then I'm at home, I got some Funyuns,
Right.
And I'm watching Netflix, and it's
Funyun
hard.
problem.
Yeah, and it's like all the stuff, Dr. Coley. I'm like, after this bag of salt and vinegar chips is done, we are going to get right on that. So why is it so hard to stick to a diet?
It's such a good point. So the first is that we go from 0 to 100. We say that I'm going to lose 30 pounds and I'm going to do it in the next month. You cannot make dramatic lifestyle changes and sustain them. So you have to set small, achievable goals. You have to be really realistic. And the second, allow yourself some Funyuns once in a while.
There we go.
You have to give yourself the liberty to cheat, because we are not the type of people that can be so restrictive. In fact, if we're overly restrictive in our diets, it actually creates an unhealthy behavior, relationship with food. It creates anxiety, it creates depression and self-image and self-esteem issues. So you cheat one day, but remember, the next day, the day after the Funyuns, you got to work it off. Exercise, do something to get rid of those calories.
That sounds like a cool movie, The Day After the Funyuns. Like, that'd be real.
Dude,
okay.
where's my car? The day after the Funyuns. All right, there's also some new research, speaking of junk food, why science says it's so bad for you, and it includes the fact that it kills healthy bacteria in the gut and dramatically raises the risk of early death. So, Dr. Coley, what's your take on junk food? And as you said, is it ever okay to indulge? You're saying a little bit at a time?
I think it is.
Okay.
I really do. And I mean, I have my guilty pleasures. A chocolate cake probably is one of them. Chocolate in
She's
general.
So cute.
But it's really important, again, to limit how much you're doing. So if you have a pie, 100% of your calories, only 5% can come from junk food. So you're allowed to cheat a little, but you really have to have control on how much you cheat and make sure it doesn't get away from you. And part of doing that, I think, is limiting how much you have access to.
Yeah,
so,
what you see on the counters.
Well, I don't even buy it. Like, I don't, because if it's in your house, you're going to want to reach for it when you're watching that Netflix movie. And the other part of it, guys, this is a neat trick, is take it out of the bag. So if you're eating those chips directly out of the bag, you're likely to actually consume more than if you put it in a bowl and you have a small controllable portion.
Very interesting. All right, let's talk a moment about alcohol. I know a lot of folks found themselves drinking a little bit more during the pandemic. One Harvard study says excessive drinking went up more than 20%. That is an enormous amount. But there's some new data about Americans not knowing some of the consequences of drinking. So tell us other things that we might not know.
This really shocked me. It's a survey that just came out that showed a third to a half of Americans don't know that alcohol is one of the most modifiable risk factors for cancer. Not just one cancer, but multiple types of cancer. And so most of us don't realize that even just a little bit of alcohol can increase our risk of esophageal cancer or oral cancer, stomach, liver, breast, pancreatic, all different types of cancer. So I think this is really important for us to realize. This is something we do socially. We lose track of the risk. This is a carcinogen that we're putting inside our bodies.
I did not know all of that.
I mean, it's interesting because people said that they didn't know that 20 years ago the cigarettes were bad, even though you're coughing. And like as we drink, and it burns going down your throat, but then you're like, I can't believe this is going to be bad for my esophagus at some point. It's very interesting.
But what's the specific type of alcohol? Like, I know red wine has its own studies, and that's what I like. But is it like, let's focus on what it is. What's the bad one? And then how much do you have to drink in order for it to be a problem?
So anything that has alcohol, guys, can increase your risk. You know, and even as little as less than a glass a day can increase risk of certain types of cancers like esophageal and breast cancer. So that's not to say, again, we go back to what we've been saying. It's okay to drink once in a while, but if you're a woman, you want to limit your average intake to less than a drink a day. And if you're a man, you want to limit it to less than 2 drinks a day. Now, that's for most people.
Do those build up over the week so you can have sex on Friday if you didn't have any all week? I don't drink. I just always wanted to know.
Yeah, a lot of people ask me, no, because it's the dose that your liver and your body is getting at any given time. So it's actually better to drink a half a glass of wine every day than it is to go dry during the week and then on the weekends have 5 or 6 glasses. That's a lot worse.
That's interesting. I don't think people know that. I think you're right. They group it.
Yeah.
Like a Groupon.
Save up.
Yeah, right. All right. Coming up. Thank you so much, Doc. That was life-saving. Coming up on DBL, our interview with the amazing Apollo Ono. What does he think about this year's Winter Games? Plus, a woman's Reddit post about getting possible revenge on a high school bully years later goes viral. But can people change? Oh, boy. We're going to talk about this coming up next. Stay tuned.
Closed captioning provided by
A half a glass of wine is really small. I was just trying to calculate my days.
half a glass of wine is really small.
I mean, especially when you have like a chalice style glass. I gotta get it together, obviously.
Especially when you have a baby too.
I know, exactly. When you have a baby.
You know what's interesting is like, Tori, you've been to Europe. Like when you go to American bars here and you get like Johnny Walker Black and you're like, oh, make it a double.
Okay, great. You
like,
got it. Thanks,
you get your
Michael.
tumbler glass and it's this much booze. Over in Europe, they're like way more of a beer culture. So like when you get alcohol, it's like almost barely enough to fill the bottom of the glass.
Like a little bit.
And I wonder if it's like
Well, their food portions
Is
are way
half a
different
glass
too.
of wine 2 ounces?
I don't know.
3
That's
ounces?
2 ounces is a little
might
bit.
be
I
like
know
2.
exact ounces because how much Kinsley drinks. 2 ounces.
Oh, so how much is it?
So I know if it's 4 ounces, it still is like this much.
nothing. I mean, well, I
I'm
think
just gonna not drink.
Well, totally, I think that's the problem. I think a lot of people are like, well, if I'm gonna drink and anything over a small amount is too much, I might as well just drink the whole thing. Like, not the whole thing, but maybe 3 glasses. That's
Courtney, are you there?
Wow, that's really what we're seeing.
Court?
You have to be able to cut yourself off. So it's okay.
David, can you get me the booth real quick?
Indulge.
Oh,
but
you're
do
right
it
there.
the right amount.
Will you get the
I
booth
wonder.
real quick
I think
for
that's
me?
what that Noom product isn't that about, like your mental, like how you approach.
Hey, I got a
food?
great comment
Maybe
here
you should
already.
approach- I
Says I
mean,
bullied a
I
kid
think
in
my
middle
mental
school. I was a
approach to
dumb
alcohol
kid. I
changed.
ran into him several
And
years
that's why
later and
my-
apologized, and he accepted. This is coming from Aaron Ledette, or Ledette, I hope I'm saying that right. We're talking about that in an upcoming block, and I'm so excited to hear that. And I think I'm going to read that out during the broadcast. It's about a woman who sees that a bully, her old bully's coming into town and wants a job, and should she say anything or not? Yeah, but
It was not like middle.
yeah, I'll save it for D-Block. Oh, great, we'll save it. Okay, so you guys got an exclusive preview as Aaron's comment. Oh, Daniel Page, I'm ashamed to say I was a bully in high school. Thank you for being so transparent, guys. People can change, right?
I was annoyed by them anyway. You know?
I'm also drinking. Welcome back. So there's a very interesting conversation on Reddit that's getting a lot of attention. I can't wait to discuss this. And a lot of you have already wrote me, which is interesting in the show. A woman who says she runs a recruiting business is asking for advice. She shared that her high school bully recently moved back to town and is looking for work. Because of her job and her connections, she says she has the power to prevent him from getting any of the good jobs in her town.
What is she, the sheriff in the Old West?
What is that, Sheriff?
I feel like
Nottingham.
she's overstating her position a little bit, but
All right,
you know, we get it.
She could be the mayor. This woman says she is considering letting other business leaders know about his past and will blackball him from getting work. But some online are saying that she's in the wrong for holding this grudge and that he could have completely changed since high school. So, what do you guys think? I'm talking to all of you. Please write me in. Lindsay, I'd love to get your opinion on this.
Okay, I hate to admit this, but I am a little bit petty. And so I would definitely be like, I'm not hiring you. But I don't have the time or the capacity to go person to person who's also in different industries and say, oh, don't hire this person.
That's
go
what
ahead,
group
good
text
luck.
is for.
Yeah, exactly. Or whatever. Good luck with if you go to someone else and you're not a bully anymore, try them. But if you come
What
to me,
if
I'm probably going to be like, hey, no response.
You wouldn't go out of your way to tell people.
No, I'm not doing that. But I'm definitely not going to respond to you.
Okay,
If I have ill memories, this is for adults too. If I have unsavory memories of you, you're not going to probably get a response from me. But somebody else, you probably will, so you can go on with your life. I'm not going to pretend like I own the town and can really control every single industry in that town.
Lindsay, you are nicer than me. I was with you up to the first part. Like, they're not going to job for me, and I would let people know. There's consequences for what you do. And, like, trust me, this person did not know that this person has this power over them, but clearly they didn't care enough to reach out and make amends before. If this person had reached out 10 years before this and said, Lindsay, you know, I've been sitting around, I'm 30-something years old, and I'm looking at my kids play around, and I realize what I did to you, and I apologize.
Really?
And that's one thing. Yes,
you would
I know
tell?
people that bully people in high school and have apologized.
But I would never take the time to go out of my way because that person could have changed.
You have to make more time in your schedule.
But how do you know the person, like you said, some people didn't realize how much they affected you. They probably knew they were a bully. So then wouldn't you just, I feel like Tori might have the conversation with them, like, you know what you did?
100%.
Offended me. Me, I probably wouldn't, honestly, but I feel like you really would. And that might help somebody to realize what their actions did to other people. Maybe teach their kids better than they did.
And people are writing in, I was a bully. Daniel Page says I was also a bully. Aaron Ledette said I was a bully and apologized to someone. And so thank you for being so transparent. But for any type of reason, I don't know what you've done in the past 20 years. You could have called me all kinds of names, and you've now become a good person. Now my energy towards you is blackballing you. I don't know you.
You don't have to put energy towards it, but I do think if they have not made an attempt to make any kind of amends, then things are the way they still were.
But most bullies don't reach out to their high school.
Then sometimes that bully might not get a job in this town. If you did the, if you,
I love that Al took it even further than me.
Eric always says, if you do the work, you're worth it. But like I don't understand why you get to, because let's be honest, like the trauma that people have that are bullied in high school, middle school stays with them forever. Like it's a lot of damage. It's not this kid stuff. So when you do that kind of damage, if you're not willing to undo it and like make amends verbally, you know.
And I feel like the bully will see that this lady's successful. That's the best revenge you can get, is like, check me out.
I don't know.
I guess.
She doesn't have to do anything,
You're
really.
way nicer than me. I wouldn't do this.
Well, Gabriel's saying the past is the past. Aaron Ledette, who admitted to being a bully, said people tend to change. People change. It's interesting that you see it that way, as like what happened is cemented and that's not going to move.
So you would just help them, no questions asked?
No. I would never help, but I would not go out of my way to do anything proactively against them. I wouldn't. Now, if you came to me for a recommendation, I'm going to give you my opinion, but I'm not going to go out of my way. I won't. I'm too lazy.
Hard stance.
You're nicer than me.
Well, that's interesting. Let us know what you think on YouTube. Coming up on DBL, 8-time medal winner.
Me?
It's Al.
Yay.
It's Apollo Ono. What does he think about this year's Winter Games? He had a really interesting take on this. Find out next.
Americans ate almost 4 times more avocados in 2019 than they did in 2000. Demand for guac and even avocado toast is soaring. 80% of our avocado supply comes from Mexico this season, but the U.S. imposed a nearly week-long ban on avocados from Mexico after a U.S. agriculture inspector received a credible death threat. This prompted headlines and fears of an avocado shortage. So let's verify. Is there currently an avocado shortage in the U.S.? Our sources are the International Fresh Produce Association, Chipotle, and agriculture data analytics firm Ag Tools. Mexico has ideal conditions for avocados most of the year, and it's the world's largest exporter of the fruit. Commercial buyers like grocery stores and restaurants typically purchase avocados well in advance, and the International Fresh Produce Association says grocery stores are not experiencing a shortage. Chipotle echoed that by telling Verify, quote, "Our sourcing partners currently have several weeks of inventory available." So it's false that there's currently an avocado shortage in the United States, although it's possible we could see some supply issues in the next few weeks. Ag Tools says many avocados that were harvested just before the ban are now too ripe to ship. At the same time, some farmers were wary of harvesting their crops during the ban, so it'll take a few days to catch up. This could result in higher prices and limited availability. We're also approaching the harvest season for avocados that were grown elsewhere, like Southern California, which will help with the supply. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
Welcome back. Who can forget Apollo Ono's historic run at 3 Olympic Winter Games? The speed skater picked up 8 medals, making him the most decorated U.S. Winter Olympian ever. We talked to him about his new book and got his take on this year's games and had some fun with Apollo Ono. Have a look.
Great to see you. Glad that you're here. So what were your overall impressions about the Olympics? Was it, in your opinion, overall a success or a failure?
Well, the games were a success. I think that we would obviously like to have seen many more medals. I think that we would love to have seen fans and family in the audience and in the stadiums. So from that perspective, it was a very different games, not unlike what we saw in Tokyo. And this is a different time. There's obviously a lot of geopolitical tension between the U.S. and China.
Yes.
And just the coverage is challenging because of the time zone. So there's a lot of these kind of unforeseen circumstances and things outside the control that I think would have definitely made the games much different. I know firsthand when you walk into the opening ceremony and there's thousands of people cheering, and there it feels different. And so when you have a muted games like we saw, it doesn't detract away from the performance of the athletes because we know how badly they've trained and how much they want to have and achieve the results that they're seeking. But I think overall, from an experiential component, we at home, I don't know if we felt the same type of kind of unification and camaraderie and solidarity that we typically have associated with these types of Olympics. So there was a change. I think that's very clear.
Beautifully said.
Wow. My first question is, did you, Apollo, age at all? Oh, no, you didn't. Jeff dared me to say it.
Thank you. That's very
Listen,
nice.
there needs to be an Apollo Instagram filter.
He looks fantastic. Everyone's talking about it on YouTube. And
He's going backwards.
You're going Paul Rudding. You're Paul Rudding is exactly right.
Benjamin
No, see, this is the power of social. I've got so many filters on here. You don't even want to know what I would.
He's like, I'm not even Apollo Ono.
Yeah, exactly.
I do want to ask you, sorry to switch from being hilarious to this. We saw the Russian coach, or the Russian Olympic Committee coach, let's be honest, be very hard on 15-year-old figure skater Kamila Valieva after she fell. Do you think coaches are too tough on young athletes? And did you have a similar experience because you were young, a young speed skater, and we've had this discussion on and on. We'd love your thoughts on this.
I was 14 years old when I made my first team. I mean, that entire circumstance is really sad, right? You've got a 15-year-old girl who has a teddy bear, who is having the world watch and place these pressures, and you've got media making opinions and exporting their belief on what should and shouldn't be done. It's just a really challenging situation. She's an incredible skater, beautiful, classic, the way that she skates. And, you know, I think also there's a cultural difference. Man, you guys want all the smoke with these hard questions. I can tell.
He said you were cute. Sorry. Interesting.
Well, you're doing a great job answering them. I do want to applaud you for that, Apollo. Yes.
And
Thank you.
I just have to get to your book because you are talking about something I feel like everybody is going to have to deal with at some point in their adult life from now going forward. And it's the difficult transition that you faced moving to the real world. First of all, is this something that a lot of Olympians face? And like, how would you tell people to get ready to transition and make that hard pivot into a different line of work?
I think hard pivot is a critical piece of change. But as we know, behavioral change is really challenging, right? That's why I've always said, like, January 1st New Year's resolutions are so hard to stick to because it enacts change and discipline and things that are uncomfortable. I would say majority of Olympic athletes really struggle with transitioning from one identity that has been given to them and that they were told and gotten all these affirmations. This is what you're good at. This is what your purpose is. This is what we'll celebrate you for. And that's in the form of your parents, your loved ones, your community, the fans, the coaches. That was a great lap, Apollo. Good job. You're so good. And then when all that is done, those are guardrails. Those guardrails that we have maybe in your current career path, all of a sudden when you decide to do something different by force or by choice, they go flat. And then you no longer know, you don't have that same support system that's there to tell you that this is your purpose, to tell you this is why you're here on Earth. And sometimes it can feel very lonely, very cold, and very isolated. And so the book's intention is to let people know, one, they're not alone. Two, there is multiple paths to perceiving what these challenges and difficulties are and transforming them into opportunities for you to grow and hopefully realign with your true north and your purpose, which, you know, is hopefully the silver lining of COVID, right? There's tons and tons of trauma that all of us have faced over the past 2 years. But within that trauma is the silver lining to understand that we are going to embrace change, we're going to adapt to it, and we're going to move forward, hopefully, in a better version of ourselves than we are today. And that's really what
reinvent.
I love it.
Oh, no, 2024. Quite an inspirational book. Apollo, thank you so much for joining us. And to our viewers, Apollo's book, Hard Pivot, is out. For details, go to apolloono.com. We'll be right back.
We're sorry for Tori.
Sorry.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
Headlines and people on social media have pointed out the lack of black figure skaters that competed in this year's Winter Olympics. In fact, Canadian figure skater Vanessa James was the only one. People on social media have questioned why there are so few black athletes in the sport. On a recent episode of Big Brother, contestant and Olympic figure skater Mirai Nagasu claimed that black figure skaters were once barred from competing in the U.S. But is that true? Let's verify. Were black athletes in the U.S. once banned from competing in figure skating? Our sources are U.S. Figure Skating, the International Olympic Committee, and Joe Velasco, board member at the Diversity Ice Fellowship and Foundation. In the United States, two main levels of competition for figure skaters are the national circuit and the Olympics. U.S. Figure Skating says Mirai got it wrong. In an email to Verify, the organization said there is no history of an official rule banning black athletes. Instead, they said, quote, widespread societal segregation in the first half of the 1900s often prevented black people from entering many businesses, including having access to ice skating rinks, unquote. The International Olympic Committee told Verify, quote, there has never been a stipulation in the Olympic Charter that black athletes were not allowed to participate in any sport at the Olympic Games, unquote. So we can verify, no. Black athletes in the U.S. were never banned from competing in figure skating. But still, for the last 100 years, skating has been an ethically homogenous sport.
While there have been all these, wonderful black and brown skaters, they're just too few and far between.
Atoy Wilson was the first black figure skater to compete on the U.S. circuit in the early 1960s. And Debbie Thomas was the first black figure skater to compete at the Olympics for Team USA. Thomas won bronze at the 1988 Games. U.S. Figure Skating told Verify that it's working toward creating opportunities for athletes of color and making the sport more welcoming and equitable to all. With your Verify, I'm Adiande Till.
Quickly, this is what a non-fungible token, or NFT, is. It's a digital file, so an image, a sound, or video. The creator then adds another layer of computer code to it, and that code then registers the file on the ledger of the internet, a system called the blockchain. Now, this allows a user to prove this is a unique file, and that uniqueness creates value for an NFT. Some of these sell for thousands, even millions of dollars. So can the IRS tax them? To Verify, we went to the IRS and Amy Miller, a certified public accountant who specializes in virtual currency. So NFTs are bought and sold as collectibles or investments, and because they're recorded on the web's ledger, the blockchain, there's a record of the transactions. The IRS has yet to give a definitive label to NFTs on its website, but that doesn't mean they can't be taxed. The agency explains, quote, virtual currency is treated as property, and general tax principles applicable to property transactions apply to transactions using virtual currency. In other words, even though NFTs aren't defined by code and are strictly digital assets, they're still taxed just like physical assets.
The IRS has a question at the top of the Form 1040 asking, at any time during 2021, did you receive, sell, exchange, or otherwise dispose of any financial interest in any virtual currency? And taxpayers are required to answer yes or no to that question.
So we can verify, yes, you have to pay taxes if you sold an NFT and made a profit.
Can I just say I love our DBL community? I love it. If you aren't on YouTube, you really should join because people are so honest and open. Aaron, who was saying that he was a bully, said, I experienced the same thing, and I say live and let live. When you're younger, you really don't know how you're hurting the other person.
Right.
And then Joy said she had bullying, was PTSD, was affected traumatically, and said, I realized how much it had affected me today. I wouldn't do anything negative to her. She did recognize her horrible behaviors, and I guess they did apologize.
That's great.
Yeah,
it's hard to go back and apologize and acknowledge what you did. So shout out to those that did, and there's still time if you haven't.
Totally agree. DBL's new every day. We'll see you same time, same place tomorrow. Bye, guys.